All right, good evening, everyone. Happy Martin Luther King Day. We are celebrating all his greatness and recapping week 4 of the NBA and fantasy basketball week. You can call me Dr. Dane Andre, and I'm with the one and only Killanomics.
What is going on?
This is the University of Fantasy Basketball podcast. Welcome, everybody. Killer, how was your week 4, man?
Week 4 was a rough one. I lost about 3 or 4 of my matchups. A lot of them came down to Sunday. Paul George had an okay game, but he was unfortunately unable to deliver me some key wins in some other leagues. Um, yeah, just some tails, some head scratchers happened. You know, for some of the games on Sunday. But was able to come away with the win in the most important league, the association. So certainly happy in taking that momentum going forth to week
Definitely,
5.
definitely, definitely. Yeah, same here,
How,
man. Same here. I split my weeks, 2 and 2, and then a tie in another league. But like as you mentioned, got the W in a big way in the association. So I'm pleased with the outcome of that. Um, Man, it's been a big week, man. A lot of things happened. James Harden is now a Brooklyn Net. Um, Unfortunately, yeah,
Brooklyn,
yeah, yeah. Clap it up.
Brooklyn.
I give you that. I give you that. I'll let you rock on that. Um, it's gonna be dope, man. It's gonna be dope. I'm excited to see what they can make happen. We've seen this kind of story before in Brooklyn, or formerly, even with the former team, the New Jersey Nets. We've seen them make it to a couple of finals, but could not deliver. Ran up against, a historically great team, and just didn't work out. But
Well, let me get an opportunity to tell you what's different around this time.
please do.
For for one, we've got 2 former league MVPs. That's one of the biggest
That's worth
ones.
something.
Um, Two, we have a big three and a big three that can score and do a lot offensively.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and three, this big three, all the players are in their prime. I think unfortunately we got bad goods with the KG and Paul Pierce, and we were already dealing with Deron Williams and his struggles. So I think this time is much different. And the players look really excited to be in Brooklyn, and I think that matters a whole lot, and I think that's being understated.
Yeah, I agree. Apparently they all want to play with each other. As we know, uh, uh, KD and Harden have history together, and have a lot of chemistry built up. Even though it's a long time since they've really played with each other, but they've played together on Team USA and seen each other in All-Star games and whatnot. And so I mean, it's probably a little bit overblown. And we've seen 2 games so far, including the one tonight, where they look spectacular together. As to be expected. And then Kyrie to that mix, and that's going to be fun.
But you're talking about let's highlight the team that they beat tonight. They beat the Milwaukee Bucks, right? This is a team which is supposed to be one of the top contenders in the East.
Hmm.
And basically the Brooklyn Nets are a team off the street right now. Like,
Yeah.
they traded, like 2 or 3 starters or 2 or 3 people that gave a lot of, good minutes. Harden just got here like 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
Hmm.
He's not even in shape,
Yep.
and Kyrie Irving hasn't even reported yet. So I
Yeah.
mean, it tells me more about where the Bucks are
Hmm.
than where the Nets are. Like if I'm a Bucks fan, um, and I'm Bud, I'm really concerned about this team and this roster, and I don't have the answers, or the answers that I have are not realistic. I think it really starts with Giannis has got to shoot, and he's got to do it now. He's got to go through the pain of taking jump shots now because we know the wall is coming. The wall is coming when it comes to playoff time.
I mean, we talked about you know, our thoughts on the trade Eric Bledsoe and others for Drew Holiday, and whether that was a true upgrade or not. And obviously, Drew Holiday is a better player. But you know my take on it. I did not feel like the moves were going to significantly upgrade the team. Um, you've mentioned the loss that they took tonight and how they just don't really look like the same team right now. They're not the same team. This is a team that also got spanked by the Knicks on their opening night. And you know they've taken some other pretty tough losses too. So I mean, I'm curious to see what happens, how this team comes together, and whether they can kind of correct the ship, so to speak. I mean, and I don't want to overblow it because they're not. It's not like they're. I mean, what's their record right now? Uh,
Probably got about 5 or 6 losses.
yeah, they're probably right around 500. I think if I had to guess. Um, you know,
They're,
this
they're
is not
sitting
the
at nine.
same.
They're sitting at 9-5 right now.
Okay, so they're a little bit above 500. They're probably closer to the top of the East, but um, yeah, they don't look like the same kind of team. So like you said, maybe there should be some concern, and we've even heard some talk about them trying to add another uh, big name player in the mix, and whether that's even viable or not, we'll see. Um, let's moving back to the Harden trade. Let's talk a little bit about the other players involved. Obviously, Karis LeVert and Jared Allen have moved on. Karis LeVert to Indiana. Uh, Jared Allen to Cleveland. What do you make of their fantasy value after the trade? Um, what are your thoughts there on those two particularly?
So first off, I want to thank Karis LeVert and Jared Allen, for their efforts and what they've built in Brooklyn.
So,
They've
so
been a
if you
big
can't
part of.
tell, Kyle is a Brooklyn native and a big fan of the Nets.
And
I'm a Knicks fan by history and trade, but I've also been very supportive of the Nets over the years. Both are New York teams. I'm happy to see success when it comes to our New York teams. But continue.
yeah, and I support the Knicks, and I enjoy seeing the Knicks succeed and do well. And I've been really surprised and really encouraged by how the New York Knicks have played the other season. But jumping back on to Karis LeVert and Jared Allen, um, yeah, I think both jump into great opportunities. Um, Jared Allen, it's probably going to take a little bit of time because the Cleveland Cavaliers have to figure out what they're going to do with Andre Drummond. Like that sends a clear mind to me that Andre Drummond is probably on the way out, and McGee is probably a buyout candidate or a draft candidate. But I
Mm,
think once that's set in place, I
yeah.
think it's the perfect fit for the Sexland combination that that uh, uh, that the Cavaliers have in place. And so I just really like the fit, right? Like the age is right,
Hmm.
and just what Jared Allen needs to bring.
Yeah.
Because I think he's better than the numbers as far as defensively
Hmm.
than Andre Drummond. Although for
Mm.
fantasy wise, Drummond has always had better numbers, and so I'm really happy for where he landed. And then on the other side, Karis LeVert, he's gonna be on the Houston Rockets. As long as they're pacing and spacing, he's in a very good role because they're gonna need points, right? Like he's probably thirdish, probably thirdish, second thirdish in command. I mean, Wood's been playing a lot better than I. Wait, wait a minute. He's not on the. He's on the Indiana. He's gone to the Indiana Pacers. Whoa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, um,
Yeah, he's gone.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll talk about how that happened too. Yeah.
yeah. So for the Pacers, I don't know. Probably about the same. I'll say about the same, with room to greatly improve. With room to greatly improve. But I mean, the Pacers like to move the ball. Like Brogdon is a willing passer. Sabonis is a willing passer.
Mhm.
Um, it's just I don't know how Karis LeVert like looks or works in that offense. But I mean, if you just substitute Oladipo, then I mean they have very similar styles of plays as far as what they do.
Yeah.
So probably very similar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
probably very similar.
I agree with
Yeah.
that. I think I like Indiana for Karis LeVert. I think his fit with Malcolm Brogdon is going to be a really good one. Um, they both can play off the ball. They both play on the ball if they'd like. And given that type of offense that Nate Bjorkin, uh, I'm sorry if I'm butchering his last name, but their new head coach, wants to play up tempo, likes a lot of ball movement. Um, and I think you're right about the similar style of play with Oladipo. But I think he's you know he's a little younger than Oladipo,
Mhm.
and has probably a little bit more upside at this point in his career. Probably has some more room to grow. Definitely, from a character standpoint, he's going to be an upgrade for Indiana. So, fantasy value wise, I think it's going to work. I think he's going to be able to do similar things. But my one concern is what happens next year when somebody, or even later this year when somebody like TJ Warren comes back and
Mm, forgot
he
about him.
yeah he's gonna soak up some of those shots, but Karis LeVert is very adjustable, I guess, or flexible, and he seems to uh, have the right stuff to make it work wherever he goes. So I'm not super worried about him, but it could be something to pay attention to. But I would think they wanted to work for him as much as he would want it to. So on the flip side, Jared Allen, I agree with much of what you said. I do think the move signals something to, as far as like Andre Drummond being there. And I'm not confused by it, but I think it gives them a little bit of insurance, just because Drummond is on the last year of his contract. He wants to get paid. I don't know what kind of investment they're willing to make in Drummond. Um, I, personally, I mean, this is Cleveland. I would, if Drummond wanted to resign there, he looks like he's fitting in very well. He looks like he's having fun. Um, I don't see anything that concerns me from a chemistry standpoint there. He's been very, I mean, the other night he played the Knicks and just bullied Mitch Robinson and put up a 20 and 20 game. I mean, he was very active doing things as far as handling the ball, even if it was ill-advised at times. He's doing some things that are kind of interesting and opening up his game a little bit, for better or for worse. But um, I think now with him and McGee being there, I'm not liking Jared Allen's fantasy outlook at this point of the season. Maybe once he settles in, and like you said, he could probably be the center of the future in that on that team. Um, he fits their timeline, fits in with the Sexland group, like you said. Okoro's there. They could probably build something very nicely with that young core of players. So, but right now it's looking like a timeshare kind of situation until they figure out what to do with Drummond. And I don't know, is there a market for Drummond? Is there some team that I'm not seeing that would try to make a move for him and give up assets to Cleveland right now?
Yeah, I'm not tracking, who's got the cap to take on, you know, Drummond type of money because I think he's owed like 30-ish million, although it's expiring, as you've pointed out.
Mhm.
Um,
I mean, there's always
I'm not really.
OKC. Got
Yeah, but I
the
don't
cap
think that's the
space,
direction. I don't think that's the direction OKC wants to
No, it's
go,
not. I'm
given.
just yeah, yeah. He's from Mount Vernon. Maybe the Knicks are interested. I don't know. I doubt it, but um,
Add a 10th big man
I mean,
to the roster.
you know,
Uh,
I don't know. I mean, they just recently added Taj Gibson. I think they probably have some room to add some depth to that that front line, that front court. So anyway, let's talk about Oladipo for a second. What do you see from him being in Houston now?
um, I think he's gonna be great. He's gonna be great, and he's gonna be great in Houston, in real life, on the court, and as well as in fantasy. Houston plays with a lot of pace. He's played next to Russell Westbrook before, and I think John Wall is an even more friendlier guard to play alongside with. And he can play the pick and roll, with Wood or Boogie Cousins, if that's what Boogie is doing these days. Um, but I really think, if anything, his fantasy value goes up just because there's less options in Houston.
Hmm.
I do know he doesn't want to stay there. Like, his plan is to figure out a way to get to the Miami Heat. And so I'm wondering if that happens, sometime this season. You know, maybe they flip Hero or something. Maybe Miami trades Hero to get Oladipo, or they just wait to the end of the season because they've got, tons of leverage, since that's where he wants to go.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts?
yeah. At first I was a little confused by the move by Houston to flip Karis LeVert because I thought maybe Karis LeVert was kind of, Karis LeVert and Jared Allen would be two guys they would want to see in Houston, but you know, with Karis LeVert going to trading places Oladipo, um, like you said, it could be a. First of all, let me just say I don't know that I love the fit with John Wall. eh, he has played with Russell Westbrook before, and they are kind of a similar version of each other. Russ being a better version, but I don't know. I just don't like. I don't know. I just don't really like the fit between him and Wall much. I just can't really see it. I just can't really see it right now. Maybe it's because I'm so used to seeing John Wall with Bradley Beal, and I don't know. I'm not really into it.
Well, Well, that brings up a good point. What's the major differences? I mean, of course, Beal can shoot way better, than Oladipo. I mean, John Wall's played with Bradley Beal. Um, and Depot's not a big assist guy, right? He can give you, a handful of dimes, right? But he's not trying to push, say 7, 8, 9. Certainly not double double in the assist category.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like I think Oladipo, this is when he played with Russ, he was just at a different place in his career too. And I think he was ready to defer to Russ. It was Russ's team. I think he understood that. Depot was even coming off the bench for that team for a while, right? So he was just at a different point. Right now, he's thinking about being the primary offensive weapon on any team. And, um, I think that not being the way Indiana wanted to play kind of maybe made him a little unhappy there. And
Mhm.
I think you're right. I think he does have some more opportunity being in Houston. Um, but I don't, you mentioned that he doesn't necessarily want to be there, but I don't know that Houston necessarily wants him there either. I think the reason why they flipped him uh, for Karis LeVert is because A, he's an expiring deal, and B, he might be something worth, getting some, you might be able to attract some assets towards the trade deadline um, or sometime even before that. So, um, I think they're going to be aggressive about trying to move him. So, uh, we'll see what happens, but I don't like his fit there. Fantasy wise, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be around the same. He has opportunity to score, but if he stays healthy, I think he should be fine. I don't see an issue there. Um, all right, well, let's move on to any other thoughts on things that happened. We had a few big comebacks. Porzingis played his first couple of games from his meniscus tear in the bubble. Kemba Walker also came back on Sunday against the Knicks when they got spanked. The Celtics did by 30, might I add. Um, I just had to say that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. Um,
Nah, man. Celtics fans deserve, all the pain that they're getting right now. I remember when they thought they were on the mountaintop, right? They thought they were on the mountaintop. And it just shows, you still got to be aggressive about, getting the players that you need to win a championship. Like
yeah.
Danny Ainge is so. I mean, I was having a conversation with someone, earlier today. Danny Ainge is so overrated. Like
Mm,
people think, he is one of the best GMs, and he's just bad. Um, because I don't know if you know about this, but the Celtics had an opportunity to get Miles Turner for Gordon Hayward, right?
yeah.
And what's the one thing the Celtics have needed, the last couple of years, and it should
Yeah.
have been, crystal clear when Kyrie Irving, left, and that didn't work. They need like a big man, somebody that um, can run the floor,
Yep.
can give you space, hit threes, and also be an anchor. And it's just mind blowing to me,
Yeah. They're
how
still
they don't
they're
make that deal.
still struggling to replace Horford, who walked away basically for nothing. And then same thing with Gordon Hayward this year. They lost him, didn't really get anything in return. I mean, they got that trade exception, I guess, which is it's going to be big. But if you don't make a trade, then I don't know how valuable it's going to be to you. Um, Yeah, yeah. I mean, Miles Turner would have been interesting piece there. I think he probably checks a lot of the boxes. A lot of people like the Tristan Thompson signing. I mean, I think we know what Tristan Thompson can do, and he's a versatile defender and all that kind of stuff. But um, I still think, given what the stuff, them again trying to replace what Horford did for that team, they probably would have been a little bit closer to that with Miles Turner. Um, spilt milk. But Kemba. All things aside, Kemba. I don't know if there's an injury report on him yet, but he left the game a little early. I know he wasn't scheduled to play big minutes in his first game back, but he did. I think hurt his hip or something like that during the game. Um, I don't see him on the injury report, but he had a slow start. You know, rusty, all that kind of stuff. Porzingis, on the
Hmm.
other hand, had a couple of big games and also had an interesting uh, time being looked off by Luca in the during the Milwaukee game. Uh, he was wide open for three and then gave Luca you know the I've been open. Even after the shot was taken, he just stood there looking at Luca like, why didn't you throw me the ball, bro? And then we saw him launch that crazy shot that
He shot
Luca
that
was
shit from
talking
the
about.
logo. Yo, KCP shot that shot from the logo. He didn't even flinch with the man
Yeah,
on him.
he didn't, and
And
again, I
I'm
think it's
watching.
because
I'm
Luca looked
watching.
him off. The play prior to that, Luca looked him off, and you know, he just. I know Luca felt him. Yo, when Porzingis is on the top of the key, open, you can't miss him. You can't miss that 7 foot guy standing at the top of the key, like ready to shoot. He was in like triple threat position, ready to catch and shoot too. And Luca was just like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna take this shot right here." And so now, fast forward to the last play of the game. As soon as they passed that ball out and Porzingis felt the ball coming to him, he had already shot it. He didn't like.
Yeah, it's kind of like the one you remember, like in the video games, you could do like a one-time pass in like the hockey games, or even in the
Yeah,
basketball games, they kind of got the one-time shot where you're like pressing the shot button like as soon as you press the pass button because you're trying to release it before somebody is already
yeah.
there to press the block button.
Like there was several
Man.
seconds left on the clock, and he shot it like it was like an inbound play at point four left. He just,
Yes,
I
yes.
was like, yo, and Luca was not happy after that. Needless to say, I don't think he was, you know, pissed at Porzingis particularly, but I think he was just unhappy in general because he didn't touch the ball at all. Um, but yeah, neither here nor there. It's good to see them back. We had a couple of guys that went down on the flip side. CJ McCollum, that's a big loss, and as well as Nurkic. So both on the Blazers. They've got bad luck, man. I don't know what it is, but they always seem to, you know, get into these spaces where they're doing okay as a group, and then suffer a big injury. Right now, they're sixth in the West.
Hmm.
Sitting at 8-6, and I've got to think that losing CJ and losing Nurk is gonna um, kind of affect them a little bit for the upcoming games. Um,
They
Big
got
loss.
Dame Dollar and
They got Dame
Carmelo
Dollar.
Anthony,
They got Dame
right?
Dollar and they got Melo. You're right. You're right. But we'll see how far they can take him by himself. It didn't work out last year. Without Nurkic in that lineup, and not that Nurkic was tearing it up this year, but
Wait,
without
wait. Was it without Nurkic, or or was it because of Whiteside?
Mm,
Well, we're gonna learn. We're gonna learn. We're gonna learn this year.
well,
We're
right.
gonna
I tell
learn
you
this
one thing
year.
right now. They don't have
Mm,
Whiteside, but they have a Cantor, and
mm.
we'll see how that works. We'll see if Cantor is a true upgrade to Whiteside. Um,
Like I don't get me wrong. I don't think Canada is like I think Whiteside is gifted and a better basketball player um than Cantor, but I also think unfortunately the style of basketball that Whiteside plays is losing basketball. Like I don't know I don't know how to put it in any more words than he's the type of player where you only want him playing no more than 20 minutes if you're trying to win basketball games. Anything more than that, you're probably going to end up losing because of just the he just makes some bad decisions, right? And the bad decisions just add up when he's playing over 20 minutes a game. And I think Miami Heat, finally figured it out, and that's why they ended up saying, okay,
mhm.
um, you're solid and you bring a lot, on the defensive end, but you also give up a lot, right? And so, you can't make the stats mislead you as far as what a person's value is, especially for real life basketball.